Hi, I'm Aiman, and welcome back to one of my auto repair videos. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do an oil change on a 2006 Hyundai Santa Fe, which also applies to 2001 to 2006 models. And the cool thing about this is that this is a pretty standard oil change, so if you can do an oil change on this Santa Fe, you can do it on pretty much most cars. So let's get right to it. All we need to do is we need to get under the car, we need to loosen the bolt on the oil pan, let the oil pan drain, and then put that oil in another pan to collect it. Then we need to replace the filter, and Bob's your uncle. So I should let you know that because this is an SUV, there are multiple things. You don't have to take off the tire, and you don't even have to. You can drive this onto a ramp to get under it, but because this is so high, you might not even have to drive it onto a ramp or jack it. If you're small like me, you can actually get under the car and probably do it that way. And as for there might be an under splash guard, but on our car, the splash guard broke and we no longer have it, so we can't tell you if that's going to restrict it. But if it does, just take it off. It's just some fasteners that you need to pry out and then put back on after you're done with the job. But let's get right to the job. And thankfully, I guess because we have the tire taken off, that means you have a better view of the job that we're about to do. So blessing in disguise. Okay. Actually, this is weird, but if you come under here, we can locate the oil pan. This black part right here is the oil pan, and at the side of it, in the back, is the bolt that we're going to loosen in order to let the oil drain. So this is a 17mm bolt. And the thing about this bolt is actually really not the bolt, but rather the space it's surrounded by, is that it's very short. I mean, it's very small, the amount of space that you have to fit in a socket to loosen it. Which means that a long socket like this most likely won't fit in. You could try. Even something like this big wrench, barely fits in, and actually it doesn't fit in. It's kind of blocked by this metal piece here. You need a small wrench and a small socket in order to even get it on there. And what you could do is you could use a regular short socket, or you could go for a super short socket like these ones. But thankfully this short socket works fine. So next step we need to do is to place our oil pan, we need to place our collection pan, not our oil pan, directly under the oil pan. Then we need to loosen the bolt. Okay. Okay. And I think I can loosen this by hand. And like most oil changes, when you do this, the oil is likely going to start splashing out. So if you care about your hands getting dirty, wear gloves. I don't. And there we go. And as you can see, there's oil on my hands now. Very dirty. And this is what the bolt looks like. Alright, so now we're going to put the bolt back. So this is what it looks like. We cleaned it up. And we don't know if it came with a crush washer, but you usually put crush washers on our Hondas, so we're going to put a crush washer here. These crush washers, when you put them on and you tighten them, they get crushed and they provide a seal for the oil so that it doesn't leak. So we're going to clean this up. Okay, I mean, it's still dripping, but that's all right. We're going to take our bolt and place it in there. As you can see, as soon as I put that bolt in, it just stopped the flow. Make sure that crusher washer is on, and then we're going to tighten it. When we tighten it, we're going to tighten it until a snug fit, and then after that we're going to do either an eighth or a quarter of a turn. depending on, you know, how tight it is. Okay, so let's push this back so it's out of our way. And then we're going to tighten this. Okay. Alright, it looks like it's already pretty tight. And then we're going to do a quarter turn. Eighth of a turn. Actually, it's really tight, so I probably don't want to go too tight, or because if you go too tight, then the crush washer is basically pointless at that point because it breaks. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go tighter with this, but as you can see, now we have our bolt on. All right, so with that job done, we're going to move on to replacing the filter. You can actually replace the filter first, but we just did the filter second, so everything else is out of the way. Now, for this filter replacement, we're going to locate it at the front of the oil pan. It's right here. Now, you could try to loosen it by hand, but first off, my hands are kind of greasy, and second off, I have a band-aid on, so I don't even think I could get a good grip of it. Actually, let me just try, because I feel like it. No, my hands are too greasy. Okay. So, we're going to use the specialized socket that is meant to be able to grip onto the filter in order to loosen it. Alright, you guys gotta... Alright, so if I'm being honest, this one's flimsy. I mean, it served us well, but it doesn't really work that well. Yeah. Alright, so in a haze of imperfection, I forgot there was an oil pan to let the oil filter drain into. Hey Aurelia, I'm sorry you have to move out a bit. Okay. But now we're going to take out the oil filter entirely. We can even let it just fall into the pan. We're going to dump it into the pan as soon as we get it out because there's still some oil in it. And like I said, you can even put this in the pan. It doesn't really matter if you're going to dispose of this. This is what the oil filter looks like. There's some oil dripping. Alright, so now you want to clean it. Clean the opening. And then you want to install the new filter. Usually my dad prefers Mobile One 108A, but we couldn't find any at Walmart. So we're going to using this one, Fram. It doesn't really matter which one you use as long as it's the right type. And also, usually the car dealer recommends their own brand, so Hyundai, but it doesn't really matter, this is just the filter. So, we're going to use this one. Let me just take it out. It is significantly different. And it's a filter. It isn't anything too special. It does look different than the original one. Hey Aurelia. And what we want to do before we install the filter is we want to put some oil on it a bit. So we're going to take... I'm sorry, Aurelia. I have to put you away. We can play it later. So we're going to be using this Mobile One 5W20. They say 5W20, but you can use 0W20. This one is the best to use. So we're going to place some in the cap. Okay, I'm gonna place them in the cap. Alright, so you want to take that oil, and then you want to lube up the rubber ring around it, and this helps to create that seal when you put the filter back on. So now that we have that seal on, some people actually put some oil inside. You can see that I actually did put it in myself, put some oil inside myself, but that's not really required. The important thing is getting that seal with the oil. So now that we have that, let me just put that back in. We're going to install the filter. Alright, so now we just screw that in. Alright, and there we go. Of course, not too loose, not too tight. We're trying to create that seal. I don't even know if you could make it too tight. Maybe with a tool, but I doubt with your hands you could over tighten it. After this point, what you want to do is now you want to refill the oil. So for refilling the oil, you want your oil, of course, like I said, 5W20 is best. You can use 0W20, and you need a funnel. The oil goes in this oil cap. My apologies, let me slow down. I think I'm rushing. So this is the oil cap. Just place that somewhere else for now. You want to make sure that your filter actually fits around or can fit into the hole. Now from the side you can even see that this is not a perfect fit for the funnel. So we can either just force this down and put the oil in, or it might be better to use a different funnel. Alright, so like I said, you can force it in, and I think that's what we're going to end up doing. And then that way, it actually fits under the lip of the hood. Let me just look from the side. Okay, it looks like it's working pretty well. Alright, so now, this engine takes 4.8 quarts, and because there's still some oil already left in the engine, it doesn't mean that we're going to use, it means that we're not going to use all 4.8 quarts. So probably 4.5 quarts. So that means at the end we should have about half a quart left in the can. So let's go. Okay, how much is left? Okay, so there's 1 quart left. Let's do a bit more. Okay, I can definitely go for a bit more. All right, now we have half quart left. And we always leave a bit left just in case we need to top it up. I mean, and I actually said this after we ended the clip, I mean, we should be good to use the dipstick to check. So the dipstick is right here. And whenever you check the dipstick, always make sure, like, keep in mind that your car is currently on a jack, so the actual level of oil might not be accurate. And plus you haven't ran the engine yet, so not all the oil has run through. But or the oil's not warm, so it might not even be accurate too. But that's what the current level of oil looks like. Let me clean it up and do another test. And it looks good to me. Always make sure that you check your level of oil after you've let the jack down, and also after you've run the engine to warm up the oil, and then check it against the dipstick. But right now it looks good. I don't believe we have to top it up. And like I said, if we needed to top it up, we would always have that extra oil. But for now, we can take the funnel out. Clean up that spill. And then put the oil cap back on. Alright, there we go. We've just done our first, actually I think, yes. So this is actually my first oil change on this Hyundai Santa Fe. So I'm Aiman, and today I showed you how to change your oil on a 2006 or 2001 to 2006 Hyundai Santa Fe. It's a pretty simple job. Like I said, if you can do a oil change on this car, you can do it on 90% of cars. So I guess that's pretty much all I have for now. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and look at other videos on EyeOnAIman, especially the videos on this Hyundai Santa Fe. And I'll see you there. So I'm Aiman, that's Irelia, and signing out. Peace.